Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel that takes you deep inside the San Francisco 49ers. I am your host, Jack Hammer, and today we have some more rumors circulating around 49ers quarterback Trey Lance. And these are positive rumors. You know, there's an NFL insider who dropped some knowledge yesterday basically saying that Trey Lance is set to prove himself during training camp this offseason for the 49ers. That's great news, and especially with training camp right around the corner. The veterans are going to be there on Wednesday next week, so we are less than a week away from training camp starting for the 49ers, and Trey Lance being ready to prove himself is one of the best things that you could hear if you were a 49ers fan getting ready for the season. You know, it follows an offseason which there's been a lot of positivity around Trey Lance, and it just so happens that it also follows the dropping of another video with Lance throwing out in Texas at TCU, working with quarterback coach Jeff Christensen. So this is an important, update here in terms of where Trey Lance is in his development. Christensen, after they had worked earlier this offseason, mentioning how he believes that Trey Lance is ready to make a substantial jump. Actually, that Lance had made a substantial jump in their work together prior to OTAs and minicamp. And in particular, what Christensen said is about Lance was that when you watch his feet, his timing, how he's throwing the ball, he's in such a better place now than he was a year ago at this time. And those three things are very key to pay attention to. Timing, throwing, footwork, all those types of things, very important, especially that feet and the timing, that footwork timing. That's something we've talked about quite a bit with regards to Brock Purdy this offseason in different videos here on the channel. And Trey Lance, if he's got his footwork down, if he's got his timing down, and he's not late on his throws, he's got enough arm to get it there even without having to really try to rip it in there, which makes it tough for receivers to catch when he overthrows some of those shorter routes. So if his timing's better and he's able to throw with a little bit more touch, that's going to be key for Trey Lance. And so those are good things that we've heard so far from Jeff Christensen. Another thing that Christensen said is that when Trey Lance gets to training camp, he is going to look like a different player. And again, that is great news if you're a 49er fan. Trey Lance, the 49ers invested a lot in him. He has all the traits that you're looking for a high-level quarterback in the NFL. He's got the arm, he's got the size, he's got the mobility, he's a smart kid. We know that he digests information at a quick rate. So that's all good news for the 49ers with Trey Lance. And then you also have Deebo Samuel, who said that when he was asked about where Trey Lance is, he talked about seeing significant improvement in the quarterback. And then George Kittle, who last year talked about Trey Lance having an insane ceiling and that he reminds him of Josh Allen. So all positive things around Trey Lance, all good things. I was there during minicamp. I was there during OTAs. I saw some ups. I saw the downs with Trey Lance. Those are going to be expected. And it's a matter of how well he does now, right? Or get into training camp. It doesn't really matter what happened in OTAs. It doesn't really matter what happened last year. It's what can you do now? He's in a fight for the number 2 position. I think he's also in a fight to possibly even be the number 1 quarterback, depending on how all this plays out. So we'll see how this transpires throughout the month of August. It starts here at the end of July, actually. But Trey Lance, he's in a spot where he can, I think, earn the number 1 job. And at the very least, he can put himself in position to be that number 2 quarterback behind Brock Purdy. And if you're a 49ers fan, it doesn't matter. It's all good news if Trey Lance continues to develop, continues to get better. Because number 1, if Brock Purdy doesn't play all 17 games, that means you have a hell of a backup behind him. And if somehow he beats out Brock Purdy, that's a hell of a deal too, because Brock Purdy played at such a high level that if Trey Lance is able to beat him out and show, that means that he has shown guys like Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and his teammates in the locker room that he is the better quarterback. So this is all positive news for the 49ers. Whether you're a Brock Purdy fan or a Trey Lance fan, if you're a 49ers fan, Trey Lance going out and balling out this year in training camp is going to be positive news for you. So again, Jeff Christensen talking about Trey Lance making a substantial jump, and he thinks you're going to see him looking like a different player when we get to training camp. And here's the deal. We are right there. Training camp will be taking place. It's less than a week away now, just about a week. A week from tomorrow, we're at training camp, day 1, on the field. We're going to be able to watch Trey Lance. We're going to be able to watch Sam Darnold. We're going to be able to watch Brandon Allen. We might even see Brock Purdy at that point. Who knows where he is in terms of that rehab coming back from the elbow surgery that he had this offseason to repair his UCL. But positive news for the 49ers around Trey Lance. And the quarterback position. Now, one last thing, I just talked a minute ago about how if Trey Lance can beat out Brock Purdy, how good that is for the 49ers, because that means how the high level they've played at. Here's the one thing I think that will tell us about Trey Lance and his performance and where he is. He's going to be okay on those short passes. He's good in that range most of the time, especially if he gets his touchdown. You know, you look at it, and when I say touch, it's just, you know, not throwing the ball full tempo all the time, just having nice pace on the ball. When you look at where Trey Lance has been at this point, and you compare him to Brock Purdy has completed 80.4% of his passes in that intermediate range, 10 to 19 yards past the line of scrimmage. 80.4 is a huge number, but you look at where Trey Lance has been to this point in his career, and he's only at 60%, 15 out of 25. If, with the help of having Christian McCaffrey on the field, if that helps him be able to get to that 70, 75% range, that is going to be huge for Trey Lance in terms of his ability to take over the 49ers starting quarterback job. And now, again, I talked about how during OTAs and minicamp we saw glimpses of it, and we did. And it's just a matter of him doing it consistently on a regular basis. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen and how this is all going to play out over the next month. But Trey Lance, according to Jeff Christensen, according to NFL insiders, according to his teammates, is looking as good as he's ever looked and should be able to really challenge for that starting position for the 49ers. There you have it. Take it for what it's worth. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that Trey Lance has a chance to be the 49ers starting quarterback? Do you think it's going to be a fair, open competition and that he will be able to beat out Brock Purdy if that is the case? Let's hear it. Take it for what it's worth. Have a great day, everybody. If you can do me a favor before you leave, hit that like button, and then after you do that, please turn on your subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications, because like I just mentioned, training camp's right around the corner. I will be there every day, and you're not going to want to miss any of those updates right here on Inside the Farms with Jack Hammer. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk with you soon.